analyzing the games.
Game plan was great.
The players.
I would want him to be a runner like Mahomes.
The plays.
That is a massive, massive mistake.
And each
The more I
other.
think about it, the more I'm fine.
Zolak and Bertrand, the Sports Hub.
What was your just reaction about the entire story, generally speaking?
Watching it play out in public has been really sad. Like, I've seen this in other walks of life and in other sort of like celebrities or important people. I've never really seen it with people that I know. And it's really different and like not good and sad and just like all around. Like, it's just, whatever happened, the sort of media onslaught. And I don't even, to be honest, I don't blame the media. I really don't, because the public thirst is there. So like the media is just the person, they're not getting people interested. People are already interested. They're feeding the beast. Like that happens in our world. But watching it play out in public has been much sadder than I ever anticipated. I would not wish anybody on any level to go through anything like everyone involved in this is going through.
Rap Sheet's got some tears on his pillow thinking about
groundbreaking
Vrabel and Russini. He's very sad, but the part that he did put in there, he said, I'm not blaming the media. The media is not getting anybody interested in this story. People were already interested in it, and they are feeding the beast. 100% accurate. So if there's anyone who thinks it was a media creation to get people interested in the story, nope.
Yeah.
People have an appetite for the story.
Obviously, you have friends. I got friends, a couple friends, at least. And you hear from people that aren't football fans, like the wives of some friends asking, like, "What the hell is this about? Why is it going on?"
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, but like they're interested in it. Like it's got to be the biggest story.
Well, I
right?
think there's a belief from some people that are close to the situation that people in the media should shut up and stop talking about it. There is. I believe that belief exists.
Like Farmer said, like, where's the Jane Slaters? Where's the Michael Silvers and all that?
And I would say, and I think there are people in the media that simply because they are friends with those involved basically refuse to talk about it.
Or work relationship. That's the way I felt about it.
So
I've gotten Dianna on our show.
I'm just telling you that I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about there are plenty of writers, people that cover the league that wouldn't even do what Ian Rappaport just did.
Right, you wouldn't address the period.
On a lot of levels, I want to give Ian Rappaport credit for saying something. He's not afraid to talk about it.
It's a normal answer.
He didn't run in the other direction. He didn't say, she's my friend and I don't talk about my friends, or pull one of those deals. Nope. It's a football story, and it's a story that people are interested in it. And I think there's now been plenty of coverage of it.
Yeah.
But it is kind of funny to me, the people that don't want to talk about it and don't want to cover it. I'm curious to know what Tony Farmer's problem is with Bert Breer. Why is Tony Farmer so upset with Albert Breer? Because I want to give my man Bert Breer credit. And that is, when this story broke and this thing came out, he was the only national guy to spend any time referencing it at all. Now, he was working locally on NBC Sports Boston, but he never shied away from talking about it, did he?
No.
In fact, I think he was weeks ahead of anybody else in talking about it. And I know that he is, I believe, friendly with all of the people involved in the story. I don't think he has any enemies in this story. So, Farmer goes at Breer.
But for what?
Well, I'm getting into that.
Okay, sorry.
I'm just saying that I believe. Here it is. Ready? Let me read this. Question from Joseph Jenkins. I've appreciated your remarks on Vrabel Russini, but why do you think major networks are avoiding this topic despite the clear football issues, trade market influence, leaks, coach of the year votes, etc.? Is it because these organizations like Vrabel Russini personally? Right? This is in Breer's mailbag. And he writes, Joseph, I don't know what anyone's motivation is. I do think silence from some corners has led to less responsible voices on the topic being amplified.
Okay.
So I'm not sure keeping quiet has the effect some people might have hoped for. I've tried to speak on it responsibly while acknowledging that I've had relationships with the people involved in the same way I do with hundreds of people in and around the NFL, and that I personally like and respect both Mike Vrabel and Dianna Russini. Farmer writes, Albert says he doesn't know anyone's motivation. Isn't he an NFL reporter? Don't reporters ask questions? He acknowledges the silence, but he's not asking why it's happening. Weird. The silence has become the story. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. And apparently, he has no curiosity why. Well, this is where I'm going to disagree with Tony Farmer. So I am inserting myself into the story, and now I'm siding with Breer on this one. Breer's job is not to report on the media. Breer's job is to report on people in football. He reports on the players, the owners, the GMs, the coaches. The football reporter does not have to turn into a media reporter. That's not the game.
Yeah.
That's not his game. Burt Breer should not be held to a standard where he has to report on Michael Silver.
Right. He's not Andrew Marchand over at The Athletic.
Exactly. Yeah. He's not Andrew Marchand. Locally, he's not Chad Finn, Mike Mitnansky, Mutt Stack. Shout out to the Mutt Stack. That's where you get the breaking news these days. The Mutt Stack every Friday. He's not a media guy. He's not a media reporter. He's not awful announcing.
Sure. Boston Radio Watch.
Sure. name, anyone you want, but that's not his role. And so I'm gonna disagree on that one. I don't think that's up to Breer.
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
But I would
it's
say,
like Rap Sheet and it's Schefter. Schefter was like, not my story when it first happened.
But if I could give now Tony Farmer, Joe Jenkins, which Tony Farmer had sent out in a screen grab. Joe, reader of Breer, Joseph Jenkins. He raises a good point, though. The element that the football writers at this point in time should be investigating is votes, tampering, how are things influenced in football? Are there people in football? This is the question they should ask. Are there people in football that want to know if those things were happening as a result of those relationships? Are there people in the league saying, oh, Morgan Moses went to New England and Russini had a Pats logo on her graphic days in advance? Well, if I'm the New York Jets, do I cause a stink? Am I saying something behind the scenes? Like, those are stories that are now football stories. That's a fair standard to hold football reporters to, but I just think reporters in football having to report on the media members, that's just not going to go well. No. By the way, I don't think Breer was talking about Farmer. I think Breer's talking about, like, me.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, if Breer could sum me up, he'd call me a less responsible voice.
Irresponsible.
No, he said less responsible. He didn't say irresponsible. He said less.
There's levels to this thing.
Yes.
You're a talk show host.
I'm not entirely
You got to drive the topic.
free of responsibility. I'm just less responsible. I thought he'd be talking about, like, me or Fred or Felger Maz, someone like that. But yeah, no, he's right. Breer is right. I think Breer hits that right on the head when he says, yeah, well, if you thought being quiet about this story was the right play, like it was going to go away, well, now you're just going to have a bunch of other outlets fill in those gaps. Mm-hmm. The outlets that are not operating with a capital J journalist, that would be one like this. We operate on the capital R ratings, capital R revenue. Capital C clicks, all of those. That's what we're operating on.
Love those clicks. Love the digital.
Capital E for entertaining, all of those things. Feeding the beast. Feeding the beast, as Ian Rappaport would tell you. So, yeah, I guess Farmer and Breer got beef today. Woo, that's too bad. It's unfortunate to see two friends like that
They're tight, yeah.
having an issue,
Yeah. Friends of the show.
All friends of the show. All friends of the show. 617-779-0985. Sims and Florio weighing in on Bill Belichick They think he's on a tour to try and repair his image through the interviews that he has conducted in recent days.
100%.
He's trying to repair the image. Do you think it's done anything for that? We'll discuss right after this. Stick around.
Zoe and Beetle are back with more
Carlin Classic New England.
on the Sports Hub.
I did a little poking around last night, and I don't know this to be factual, and please don't sue me, Bill Belichick, but there's a theory out there. There's a theory, there's a belief, there's a suspicion that this is a deliberate PR strategy aimed at the Gio Lopez type of concern about Belichick, making football not enjoyable. We didn't talk about the Gio Lopez quotes.
Yeah,
we
right.
did that on a Friday with Holly. But Gio Lopez, who was the quarterback last year, started 11 games, transferred to Wake Forest. He had some things to say about how he didn't enjoy football anymore. He didn't love football anymore. Being in Bill Belichick's program, Lopez's dad had some things to say. There's an issue there with recruiting because the players and some of their parents may not be thrilled with Bill Belichick's methods because these aren't grown men. These aren't adults. These are guys who should be out shotgunning beers.
Well, yeah, and listen, even the grown men were getting a little tired of that shtick and that way.
That is Mike Florio, and that is Chris Sims talking about Bill Belichick and his current media tour, his impromptu media tour that he's been on for the last few days, first with PMT and then with Hannity. And Florio wonders if Bill Belichick is trying to repair his public image. Can you do that as a football coach through interviews?
I don't think it's repair his public image. I think he's putting it out there to remind people who he is or just to impress young kids to come to the program. Like I brought it up to you, where was this thing filmed? Oh, it's his office, because when you see the video of the actual podcast and him talking, you see the 6 shiny trophies behind him. He's reminding you who he is and what he accomplished. I think that's what it is.
You know what
How's
the
he
best way to remind people of that is? Win.
Correct.
That's it. That's the only way he can repair his image. He doesn't have a great public image as a personality. You can't be Bill for 25 plus years as the guy who's never all that engaging and sometimes is grumpy and is just all about football, and then say, well, I'm not winning at football anymore, so I'm going to come out and be this gregarious personality that can, shoot the breeze with the guys on PMT, and I'm going to sit down with my buddy Hannity and really just be like a guy who people can relate to and really like my person. No, stop. The only way you repair your image is to go out and win football games. That's the thing you were best at. It's why people like you the most, and it's what you need to do again to gain some of that back. It's simple. How about an ACC trophy to put in the case at UNC?
That would certainly help, but you also have to get players. And to Zoe's point, there's been zero buzz around this program for the last however many months, man. There's been nothing in recruiting. You got to be on social media. You got to be active. You got to be a likable guy. I look at the program that the UCLA is taking over. Bob Chesney was at Holy Cross and then James Madison. And those dudes are all over social media. They're bringing pizzas to frat houses, and they're landing 4-star recruits and transfers left and right. And you have to be out and active and on social media. You can't just be in a hole for 6 months preparing for the season.
The worst comparison, I think, and to what you're talking about is like Kurt Signetti at Indiana. Indiana was a crap program. That dude went there and fixed it in a year.
Yes.
2 years, really. And they're still loading up. You see some of the stories these kids are getting. So all of a sudden they're just paying. NIL is killing him. And I don't know if he really understood. Of course he wants to go there to UNC, meaning Bill, and build the type of program he wants, which is what he knows is a pro program and how to get guys ready. Now you're fighting NIL and all these other super teams. The fact Kurt Signetti could do what he did and Bill struggle. I know Bill Belichick's a better coach than Kurt Signetti. But, I'm just talking about, look at the comparison of the two programs. Both are in bad shape. I think Bill rolled out all the punches, too, at the beginning. You get LT, Jordan in the box.
Yeah, that first game.
Randy Moss showing up. The parties out in the parking lot. That's got to work and that's got to hit. You got to keep doing that game after game. And then when you get your ass kicked one game and they roll it out for that, Do people really want to go back? And that's a tough draw. Because he said something on that podcast, too. He goes, hey, in New England, we're favored in every game in 20 years. Which is true. So, like, there's that element of he was miserable at times when they were winning. He's got to be more miserable now as a loser. And I'm not calling him a loser, but the fact that this kid he not get, it's almost like 2009 when he's standing there talking to Brady, I can't get through to this team. Did he think it was going to be different with kids?
I think he thought that there was a chance that people were going to be attracted to him, right? And the opportunity to play for Bill Belichick. And I just don't think it played out that way. If you're an 18-year-old right now and Signetti and Bill Belichick are both recruiting you, who are you going with?
Signetti.
10 times out of 10, right?
Money. Yeah.
This is what Bill, I don't think, realized when he got into this. His track record in the NFL is not going to be appealing. It isn't. And I think there was this automatic assumption that, oh, I've had great success in the NFL, therefore I know what it is to turn you into a great NFL player. Well, you've never done that for anybody. You've never turned an 18-year-old kid into a great NFL player.
That's the challenge.
You took what you thought were the best college football players at 21, 22, and you developed some of them in the NFL, but you were not taking raw, undeveloped 18-year-old talent and turning them into NFL players. Those are two entirely different jobs.
Correct.
And I think parents know this, and players may even know it at a young age, that they'd rather go with a Signetti that is having great success and helping players develop and raise their profile and raise their draft stock. He's never done that.
Yeah, but
he's just never done that job.
And it's so hard as a 17 or 18-year-old kid to get recruited that you're even thinking about pro football.
Right.
I didn't think about pro football until I graduated my senior year, and that spring where I did good at the combine and I had good private workouts and things started to pick up draft-wise for me. I played 1 year, like a year and a half. And you never think about it. Never thought about the draft. You never thought about pro football. You're just happy to get a full ride as a scholarship. Like, that's your goal. I don't want mom and dad to have to pay for school. And that was the cool thing then. Now it's about, not only can I get school paid for, it's who's got the best money for me.
Yeah, how much money am I making?
That almost ruins the way you're going to work to see what that carrot is ahead of you to go get. You know, that's like these kids become so damn spoiled that you get to the NFL and they're not the same type of kids that they were 15, 20 years ago. And I think you brought up the point of development. Like, I think that was a challenge for Bill. I got to be different now. I got to develop these kids as opposed to I'm just dealing with men that we draft and pay for. That's not the case now. I don't think it's rebuild the image. It's remind everybody about New England. It's remind everybody about the 6 trophies. You know, let's talk about Randy Moss on the podcast. He would never, ever, working for 20 years. He did a hell of a job the day after the Hernandez thing happened. He went to that podium, we're releasing the player. It's not what we stand for. And he was good that day. Has he ever talked about that since? No. My point is he's not going through this podcast if you're going to hit him with a Hernandez question. He had to know that was coming, right? Don't you think that? Go ahead. Hey, Bill, can we ask you about Hernandez? Yeah, go ahead. Because he was asked it. And he's like, Aaron was a smart kid, but he had this other side to him, and he was good to be around. We gave him the contract extension the year before, and really didn't see that other side. None of us knew about it.
Right, even though there's been plenty of reporting to the contrary.
Flophouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that Hernandez himself went to Belichick.
Help me. Protect me.
Yeah.
Trade me.
Yeah.
It was trade me, right?
With a number of requests.
Get me out of here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It told him to lay low. I'm not saying Bill had any idea that he was doing what he was doing.
But I'm not saying it either.
But to say, like, oh, I had no idea, was totally blindsided. Well, you knew
players
things,
in the locker room thought.
you knew things weren't going well with that guy.
How about Brandon Lloyd?
You knew that he was in a bad way, even if you didn't know he was murdering people.
It was Brandon Lloyd, right? I was talking about on the Dynasty.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Where they warned him.
Dude, Wes came to me and said, hey, this guy's different. All the players knew about it. Or the good players. The guys that ran the locker room. Walker, Light. Those guys. Gronk won't really talk about it. Brady won't talk about it. They do. When you work with somebody all day, like I told the stories, like when you're in a locker room and you're at the NFL, you spend more time with these guys and they become more of your family than maybe your girlfriend or your family at that time because you're so invested in it and you get to know people. And when somebody's running their mouth like that in a locker room, it raises eyebrows. And he was pretty brash about it from what these guys say. Not what I say, what these guys have said. Matt Light's talked about it. Walker's talked about it. Brandon Lloyd. You know? Gronk got up in that one interview, said the interview's over. We're not talking about it. But I think he did talk about how good they could have been together and how great it was when they were together. Because they had something special there with those two. Like, Aaron could run routes. And to combo him with Gronk. You know, they had that.
All right, here are the headlines. When we come back, the Celtics and Giannis. Yes, we're going there again. No, you're tired of it? No. You're tired of it, so?
No, let's do it.
And your calls. The Celtics, Giannis, and why it might be something they really need to do. Never mind just want to do. They might need to do it. We'll get to it next.
It's real difficult decisions, since Brad Stevens has made them. He's made a few of them already. So I think ultimately that's what it's going to take. The other thing is this, Bobby. Okay, maybe you don't do anything. Maybe you say, hey, we are good enough to run it back, and we think that we can make it to the second round. We should have been in the second round this year. But what about the teams around you? There's going to be other teams in the East that are going to get better, and you can't get complacent because you could say, oh, we're good enough this year to run it back, but the teams around you might be better. Like, do you think that the Pistons are going to sit on their hands now, or do you think that the Cavs or the Knicks are, they're tasting this
even the
success
tank
here?
teams?
One of them is going to go home. Sure. I mean, the Pacers, right? I mean, the Raptors are trying to get better. The Heat, you think the Heat are going to just think Pat Riley's going to sit on his hands? Come on.
If you don't go get Giannis, the Heat might. Like, that's what it comes down to.
Somebody's going to. And I think it's going to be a team in the East.
Right. He wants to be in the East at the end of the day. Like, the Warriors might string to get so I don't think the Warriors are going to be able to trade Jimmy Butler and go get assets. Yeah, Charlotte might do it. Like, there are teams in the East. New York might if they lose the series. Like, that's still in play, or lose the finals. I think that's, more than possible. And that seems to be where he wants to go. And then you're screwed.
Bill Simmons pod talking about Giannis. If Giannis wants to go to the East, and he is going to go to the East and stay in the East, can the Celtics afford to let him go somewhere else right now?
Not to Miami. No, they got stability at coach. They got a pretty good culture down there. They got a hell of a GM or president, whatever the hell Riley is. And you can't have that take where he says, well, we should have been a second round. That's a Bruins take. And are we good enough to get out of the first round? When you have Tatum and Brown, you're not looking at it. We need to get to the second round. We should be getting to the finals. You should be talking Eastern Conference Finals. Not the whole finals, Eastern Conference Finals. Because that's what you do. That's what you've been racking up. Brad's not going to run it back. He basically told you that in the press conference. Right now, as we're structured, on our team, we didn't play well against what? The West. He said that, right? The three teams in the West, bad record. And those teams are only going to get better. So how are we going to get better if we don't do anything and run it back? It's going to trade Brown.
Let me ask you a question. If you had to fear another team in the Eastern Conference, Miami? You would fear Miami?
No, Miami. Knicks. I mean, the Knicks.
All right. Would you fear Jaylen Brown on the Knicks?
Oh, yeah.
Would you fear him as much as Giannis going to the Knicks?
Giannis and the Knicks would still scare me.
They're both scary.
Giannis and the Knicks would scare me. Should scare you.
Giannis going to the Knicks or Brown going to the Knicks is better than you. The question, who are you getting in return?
Well, my question is, because I just sort of hit this sort of realization. I mean, I think Giannis, when healthy, when playing, is better than Brown. He's a better player.
Yes.
His career, his resume is better than Brown's. That's why when Giannis gets talked about, it's, oh, no, it's out of fear. It'd be fear if he went somewhere else. Does anyone fear Jaylen Brown if he goes somewhere else?
No. I get you now.
If you trade him to Milwaukee, are you all of a sudden saying, oh, we got to watch out for Milwaukee now?
Or Atlanta. Atlanta.
No. Nobody would be afraid of Jaylen Brown in the East because he's with the Hawks or with the Bucks. Nope. You wouldn't. Or Miami. with the Heat.
Wherever you deal him.
You would not view Jaylen Brown as a threat to your potential success in the Eastern Conference. And that's the difference between a guy like Giannis and a guy like Jaylen Brown.
I can't wait to see it. Like, I'm like, do it, trade him. Like, don't let him beat you though.
Oh yeah, no. Ooh.
I'm serious. You get in a series or something and he beats you. You know what the narrative's going to be around here? Traded the wrong guy. I'm not saying you shouldn't trade him.
No, you've already you just started the narrative because that's what you would say. That's what you are trying to say.
But to your point, you don't fear him. Like, I understand your point. You fear Giannis going somewhere.
It's on. Zoe's been texting with the other pro-Brown, anti-Tatum media members this week.
He's got a whole group text going.
It's unbelievable what's been developing over there.
I didn't provoke.
They've just. I didn't say you started it.
So you're so right.
I didn't say you started it.
You're a sounding board for these views.
Yeah.
I know that. Yes.
For these extremists. Extremist views.
You're a safe haven over there. Yeah.
There's nothing like it worse when you're a player, whatever sport, and some guy doesn't get the blame and you always do. That pisses you off as like a teammate. And I understand where Brown's coming from. This is like, he's pissed. He had a great year and he loved the year. And he can't even say that. And people kill him for it. Everybody.
Zoe's going to be on Twitch soon with Jaylen Brown in the background in this.
He could have
Jaylen Brown jersey.
Jaylen, you would have had me in, and you could ask Andy. I've been your supporter
with a banner on the wall that says "Basketball Infowars."
Yeah,
going live with Zoe at 7:00 tonight.
I'll wear no shirt.
Wait, hold up. 7:30.
7:30.
Wait, 8 p.m.
Why that?
He kept pushing it back.
Oh, did he? I didn't.
Yeah.
Delaying the start time and also promising guests.
Well, he's waiting on JT.
Came through. Yeah.
JT got caught in traffic.
Never show up.
Yeah. It's not a bad move.
None of the guests ever come on. KG got KG tonight.
Me and Jordan coming up.
Dude, there's the stories of how tight he and JT are because, like, supposedly he has babysat Deuce before, and he has this great relationship with Deuce. And if that's your guy, and then you also like, I hung out with my guys, and Jaylen's got a huge house in Newton. It's so easy for JT to go like, man, it's cool. I'm gonna go to his gated house, get in there, let Deuce play in the hoop and that, and I'll jump on with him for 20 minutes.
Got my buddy KG coming on. It's Ken Griffin. Hey, my neighbor. Hey, Kenny, what's going on? You're like, well,
we should start doing that. We should start teasing huge guests that have no shot of ever actually appearing. Brady coming up at 1.
I've never.
Tom Brady. He won't answer his texts, but that's because he's coming on the show instead.
Oh no, because it's tomorrow now. He'll be on tomorrow. Tune in.
We're going to start doing that with the show. We start at 10. Actually, check that. 10:30. Traffic's a nightmare today.
It's been that way.
10:30. We'll start at 10:30 today.
Nobody wants to hear about traffic. And we were almost late again.
Man. It's like, what? How can you do that?
Like, every day's like, kick me in the nuts harder. Let me kick me in the nuts.
So it's something to think about, though, with Giannis. Like, if he wants to stay in the East, you better be the team. That could get real dicey if you let him go to New York or to Miami or anywhere else.
Did you hear this from Ocho Cinco last night down in Miami? Take a listen to this. T-Bone's got it.
Does he?
I think.
As I've told y'all, I think during the season, early in the season, that Giannis was already searching for a house down here in Miami. I just didn't want to mess up the conversation. So he will be down here in Miami, and when it does happen, I told at my sources, I'm, just for the.
So hold on. So Miami getting him and Ja?
I'm not sure about Ja. I'm not sure about Ja's situation, but Giannis is damn near is in the bag.
Please. Do you know where this would be relevant?
I don't love that.
You know where this would be relevant if Giannis is looking for a house in Cleveland? Giannis makes how much a year? How many athletes live in South Florida? Beetle, is South Beach and is that like a haven for athletes?
It is. So a lot of guys have houses there that don't play there. Is the point?
Giannis,
makes a good point.
One of the biggest stars in the NBA, who makes multi-million, tens of millions of dollars a year, is looking for a crib in South Beach. Come on.
Yeah, he's torn Indiana.
Oh, he's doing that. Yeah, exactly. That's a story if it's Cleveland or Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, he's made, according to Sport Track, he's made over $500 million in.
I'd have 3 houses in Florida.
In terms of on-court and off-the-court earnings in his career, which tells me that he can afford to have multiple homes in multiple American cities, such as Miami, South Beach, any of those coastal communities in South Florida. He can certainly afford to be there. And if I were him, I would be there. I would be there. I would definitely have one of my several homes would be there. So I get it.
I'd have multiple.
Yeah, you would. If you had that kind of money.
I'd go one in South Beach, one in Naples, and I'd take one up in the Panhandle.
Okay, that's a lot of Florida, pal.
No state tax, Beetle. That's what these guys are trying to say.
Okay, but it's like, do you want to go? Why would you need more? If you're going to Florida, pick a spot in Florida you like. Pick a spot in California you like. Pick a spot in, New York City you like to have a condo there.
Ocho's from there. He played at Cincinnati as a hell of a receiver. He's big time. He's made a ton of money. He loves South Florida. Why would he even go to that extent to say it? He's shopped for how he's going to the Heat. Yeah. Dude, you played the game.
He said it's in the bag. So
in the bag.
What, get in the house? Yeah.
He's in the bag.
I'm sure it is. He's probably signed it.
Gary Washburn talking about Jaylen Brown not being upset about losing or not upset enough about losing. We'll grab that in your calls, I promise, right after this.
Instead of waiting 24 hours, if he'd have waited 24 days and the kind of the disappointment and the sting is a little less and decreased, then you can go and say, you know what? We had a tough series against Philadelphia, but overall, I had a great season, a fun season watching this team grow. I don't think anybody would have an issue with that. But less than 24 hours after losing Game 7, which you were the primary player because Jason was hurt, you blew a 3-1 lead. You're the leader of this team. People want to see disappointment. They want to see you go into a cave. You ain't heard none from Joe. You ain't heard none from none of the other Celtic players. Now, I don't know if Jason did a podcast. I think he did a podcast. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I don't think it was like after the season. Nobody else went public. You don't see people at WWF matches. You don't see like people are going in and just like, hey, I need a month. You might see me at the finals. You might see me, on a vacation. But everybody needs to take a step back and reflect. And I think that includes Jaylen too.
Gary Washburn talking about Jaylen Brown.
Stuck on that 24-hour thing, and Jason was hurt. And they just accept it. And not the fact that he could have played 2 days later. That's what I'm talking about.
What does that have to do with anything he just said?
He can't do anything wrong. The other guy can. If that's his thought.
First of all, it's false because Jason Tatum has been blamed for plenty in his career. So it's a false narrative you're creating. But what Gary Washburn is talking about is that the look of this it's not just what he has said about it being his favorite season, but the timing of it is part of the problem too. How soon after he's over it. And I would disagree and push back slightly. I don't need players to go into a cave for a month and lay low or not be out there.
So crushed.
I don't need that. I just don't want to hear that it was your favorite thing ever. What happened? I don't need you to go home and shut it down and cry about it. I don't need that. You're an adult. You don't need to react that way. But to express the opposite of what you should be expressing, when it should be, I'm really disappointed and unhappy about how this went because who likes losing like that?
Right. Do you think Jaylen is a smart, calculated guy? When he's speaking?
Too much.
Thought, right? Yes.
He's too calculated.
He knows what he's doing.
Right. So what's the point?
He's telling you I'm pissed off and I want to get out of here.
Right. But I have more respect.
He knows that reaction would.
Yeah. I have so much more respect for him just saying, I don't know that I'm a good fit here.
The guy's played his ass off every year of his career here. He's been to how many finals?
Why does he have to do that? Why doesn't he just tell his boss that he doesn't want to be here? Why does he need to announce it? I don't need to announce it anyway.
This is what these guys do, man. They like to put it out there and stir it up. And that's why I doubled down on it.
I'm wondering if Jaylen Brown on the Jennifer Hudson show was upsetting to Gary Washburn, talking about him being out there. You see this?
When he did the dance,
dancing down the tunnel on the Jennifer Hudson show. Like, okay.
One of my buddies wants you
he's having a great off season.
One of my buddies would like you, Beetle, to elaborate on what JT has ever been blamed for.
Oh, no, I know who your buddy is.
Yeah.
Gary Washburn can let you know. I know who your buddy is.
Washburn, well,
Get lost.
Jason was hurt.
Get out of here.
The other guy blew it. There it is. And they're stuck on a 24-hour thing. What if it was 5 days later and he said the same thing? He'd still be getting killed for it. What the hell's the difference 24 hours or a week later? You don't think that guy's processed and digested it?
Do you think he should say that? You think it should say it?
I totally understand. I back what he thinks, but I said that he should have phrased it differently. This was a very different year for me where I did things that I didn't think I could do or ever got the opportunity to do.
We got Jaylen Brown in the tunnel.
Yes, Jennifer Hudson. Did you see him go down a tunnel?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hey. I want to see Saxophone Billy on there.
He will be. After this New England stretch he's got coming up in the next few weeks.
Yeah,
he'll
We
be
got
on there.
Saxophone Billy on it, John. Oh. Puerto Rico. Yeah.
We should do that for guests.
We got one coming up in 3 minutes.
Anyway, I think he's talking about not only the time, just what he said, but the timing of it, which is interesting. It was pretty soon thereafter.
You can't name one thing.
Go back to the playoff series and name your year prior to winning a title.
Yeah, what about the Miami collapse?
Go back to the Miami series. And
What was the narrative it said? What was said about him?
We got Jaylen Brown.
that he wasn't good enough and he's to blame.
Jaylen Brown is at the show.
Wow, we beat that, huh? That's what we did after that. I think we just talked about it as the team collapse. It was never the individual collapse.
And
Really?
Game 7, him not playing? You
Really,
didn't ca- you didn't
I
catch
remember
crap for that?
having to come in and listen to you and Hardy just blast me for how Jason Tatum lacked any sort of clutch gene.
Edge. Give me the
And
ball.
they didn't have edge, and he
Paul
wasn't
Pierce,
clutch.
the Paul
And
Pierce
they're-
DNA gene.
They collapse in series like the one against Miami because it's Jason Tatum not being good enough.
That's being hard.
I've done these shows.
That's being
I've done
Hardy.
that show.
I could give you them. But it doesn't resonate. It's just, they have blinders.
No, unfortunately, most people are capable of recognizing that Jason Tatum is although imperfect, he's a better basketball player than Jaylen Brown. So if it's not going to work, the one we pick is Tatum.
Understand that.
But he's not perfect. He doesn't say all the right things.
That one just got me a little bit there with Washburn.
Yeah, but wait, when is Jaylen
And by the way, he suffers from being a little too self-centered at times, the same way Jaylen Brown does. So but do I ever think in a million years Jason Tatum would tell you after a collapse like this it was his favorite year ever? No, because I don't think he feels that way, and I don't think he would say it even if he did feel that way.
I think he just does what he does. You know,
just does what he does. What does that even mean?
I show up and I
What
work.
does that even mean?
I show up, I put the work in. I'm a player. I shoot. I score.
You have so little appreciation for
I
that guy.
appreciate him.
You have so little appreciation.
We got Jaylen Brown
Stop.
in the tunnel.
It is kind of catchy.
Jaylen Brown is at the show.
Hey,
Here at Tunnel Circus, Jaylen's walking down.
Jaylen Brown is at the show.
We got Jaylen Brown.
I like his moves.
Are we going to tease
We got
him?
Craig Bedard in the tunnel now. Coming up
Throw a hot
on the
dog down
show.
tunnel.
That's right. Right after these headlines in 90 seconds.